The shock of Wednesday's shooting had barely worn off before the fingers started pointing.
Well, America, we do have a lot of guns, and we have a lot of people with strong passions politically, and this was a frightening, tragic confluence of the two.
Somewhere in the 90s, Republicans decided on a politics of personal destruction as they went after the Clintons, and that is the provenance of it.
Folks, some will want to blame the left or the right or us in the media. But here's who it seems too many folks don't want to blame: themselves. We are all to blame.
I blame your goatee. But even after this attack, they still played the game, with the Democrats and Republicans coming together. The Democrats won 11-2. See what happens when Hillary's not around? Enough. It was a great game, and I held a tailgate party nearby. We had a great time. Gonna miss him. So the big question is, will we finally now tone down our rhetoric? No, we won't. Saying you're gonna lower heated rhetoric is like saying you're gonna cut back on carbs. You do it for a few days and then you're back to eating pizza on the toilet. Carbs taste too good, and so does anger. So I'm not gonna change. But then again, I'm not the problem, and neither are you. The shooter was a Bernie bro. Which means, if you're a Democrat, let's talk about guns instead.
I think we need to do more to protect all of our citizens. I have long advocated, this is not what today is about, but there are too many guns on the street. We lose 93 million Americans a day to gun violence. I mean, I've long talked about this.
He is not a bright man. By his math, in 3 days, we'd all be dead. And you know what? We should mock this guy for issuing blame while the victims are still bleeding. As should the media be blamed, who peddle the typical inane moral equivalence. Here's a tweet from the New York Times' Glenn Thrush, who says, "Any debate about civility in politics begins with Trump. No one has degraded discourse more while embracing the fringe. Fact, not opinion." Sorry, Glenn, the violence was not from a Trump fan, but his enemies. That's a fact, not opinion. Of course, when the truth undermines the media narrative, they start saying, wait, don't rush to judge, even though they've been judging us all along. And if it were a deplorable who had done this, the left would go nuts. The fact is, the media's been blaming Trump fans all along for this angry climate. Oh, they wish the shooter had been a guy in a red hat. Fact is, if you're a righty, you get accused of so many things. The left blames the right for everything bad. So, why not return the favor? It's their fault. They breed dissent, stifle discourse, intimidate people into silence. They worship violent radicals while threatening peaceful academics. They advocate destruction of private property, branding riots as protest. They fantasize about killing Republicans and their president, and others actually harm peaceful activists, tossing urine at them, pepper spraying, sucker punching from behind using makeshift weapons. They do all of these things, and yet the media is surprised when one shoots a Republican? But because it's the left, does the media really even care? They'll just call it an exception and then they'll move on to something else. So what would cause them not to move on? How do you reach a media that is sympathetic to radicalism? I think about a horse. Last week, an Antifa goon attacked a police horse in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Lisa Simon showed up to harass marchers against Sharia. This is her. You know she's a barrel of laughs at Thanksgiving. As the crowd did police control, cops say Simon attacked the horse, Samson, using a flagpole with a silver nail at the top, stabbing him in the neck. Now, the protest was against Sharia law, which is anti-women, anti-gay, anti-animal. Simon showed support for such fascism by stabbing a defenseless animal. Samson is fine, by the way. So, In a world where the political is always personal and the left excuses violence against humans, what about an animal? Maybe this act could make people reconsider their extreme views. The worst kind of person attacks a defenseless animal. Who wants to be linked to ghouls like that? That horse didn't even vote in the last election, which is good. He'd probably vote nay. The worst joke ever. Got my drinks. All right. Let's welcome tonight's guest. He knows sharp prose like I know web toes. Author of Up in the Air and columnist at Harper's Magazine, Walter Kern. He's smarter than your dad and better looking than your boyfriend. He's the creator and host of the wonderful The Rubin Report, Dave Rubin. She's half libertarian, half librarian, co-host of the Fox News Specialist, Kat Timpf. And the Hoover Dam is his neck pillow, former bodyguard, and my massive sidekick, Tyrus. All right. So, Walter, what I find interesting is the perpetrator flies in the face of every media-approved stereotype. He's a white old man with guns. He's supposed to be a redneck Nazi, but he's not. He's a radical leftist.
Right. Well, I mean, everything we've been told about anti-fascists applies to fascists.
Yes.
And just because they pretend to be against authoritarian violence doesn't mean they're not capable of it. The world's upside down right now. And I'm very disturbed because I live in Montana among a lot of these guys. And let me tell you how well armed they are. And when they start fighting each other, it's going to be a big problem.
Yeah. But the guys that you live among love Trump.
Yeah, they do. But you know what? They don't win much, the lower 20% of the economy or whatever who voted for Trump. And this was their shot, they thought. And when he gets taken away from them by, this type, I don't want to be in the field of fire.
Yeah. No, you're gonna have a revolution no one expected.
Yeah, exactly.
Dave, you deal a lot with what's going on the campus and the regressive left.
Yeah.
And am I wrong? Am I exaggerating to look at like Evergreen, the college, to look at that kind of climate and see that these things are somehow related, or are they not?
Well, they are. First off, real quick on Antifa, these guys literally dress like Cobra soldiers from G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
That's how you know they're the bad guys.
Yes.
Okay, that should be one thing real quick.
Yeah.
But yes, of course this is related to what's happening on the campuses. Brett Weinstein, who was the biology professor there, he was going against racism. He said we shouldn't have a day without white people.
Right.
That's against racism. And since then, he's basically been banned from campus and getting no protections from the university. So who are the good guys and who are the bad guys? You could bring on any far leftist, destroy capitalism, I'm a communist. You could bring any one of them to a college campus and they would be cheered. You bring on a mild conservative, like a Greg Gutfeld, for example, and there might be a problem. You're not going to get Milo-level protests. But,
that's true. That's true. I have to try hard for that.
Yeah.
Wear a satin bathrobe. Kat, they're talking about lowering the heat, the heated rhetoric. You see it on every network, and everybody's talking about words matter. Isn't that just in 4 days? That's going to be gone, right?
Yeah, of course it's going to be gone, and also, when a guy shoots a bunch of people, it's the guy who shot the people's fault.
Yeah.
Okay? This is a 66-year-old man. This isn't even like a confused kid.
Yeah.
Of course the rhetoric is a problem, but it isn't going to stop. It's already kind of ramping itself back up with Nancy Pelosi saying that there's shootings that happen because of too much Fox TV and this and that, which, by the way, I've never had anything to do with the shooting, not to brag. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So...
You have incited me to stab, though.
Yeah, I can incite some, whatever. But it's never going to stop because people have all these feelings, and they have all these emotions, and stop the rhetoric is only what people say when it's the rhetoric of the other side. You know that if it were switched, people would be like, oh, it was just the guy's fault. People are jerks, and that's just not going to change.
You think that maybe if you keep calling the president a Russian Hitler and you say that all of his followers are Nazis, you think somebody might get
Well, I think more so than that, even as if you talk about the healthcare bill, they say Republicans, they don't just say, oh, they disagree with their policy. They'll say, they don't care if you die.
Yeah.
Really, it's just like, actually, smaller government solutions are a better answer to what we're looking for. No, they want you to die. So I think that That is the kind of rhetoric.
and
Absolutely, I understand how that could lead to hatred.
They were pushing, Republicans were pushing grannies off cliffs a couple of years ago. What do you think, Tyrus?
Pushing grannies off cliffs? I'm against it.
Oh, good. Thank you. All right, we'll be right back. What do you make of this? Do you believe that all this stuff that's being said about Trump is radicalizing? It's radicalizing whack jobs. So there's people
it's giving what that man was. He's a terrorist. So that's what his distinction is. And he takes the rhetoric that people say when you spew hate. Some people will say like, wow, that guy was really hot about that, and move on. Some people are like, that's the truth, and I need to follow that. And unfortunately, that 66-year-old man, whatever reasons he needed, whatever he pulled from, if you want to do something and you want to do something negative or bad to people, it's very easy to pull if you want to watch a TV show that bashes Trump. So there's my justification. I'm a hero now. But he's not a hero. He's a murderer.
They won't allow smoking on TV because they're afraid kids will see it and smoke.
Yes.
But they will allow assassinations to be acted out in Central Park with no fear. And I'm going to tell you what. The New York theater goer is not afraid that Donald Trump will be assassinated because they're doing this in Central Park. They're just afraid they won't have tickets.
I think they should allow smoking on TV.
Yeah, I do too.
Well, they do it in the movies.
Yeah. But
it's in every movie. It doesn't matter what scene it is. You literally could run a mile, climb a mountain, you get to the top mountain. Well, that was dangerous. Like, literally, watch every movie. It's completely random.
You know how much more weed I'm smoking because of these people?
But it's interesting because if this stuff isn't radicalizing, then that means why do we have advertising?
Exactly.
It's a $500 billion business based on influencing people. And that's what's going on. You're telling people Trump is Hitler. You're telling them that everybody that supports him are Nazis. You're saying you're having his head like this, and you're telling me that why do we advertise for Coke if that doesn't matter? This is advertising. It's advertising for death.
Yeah, but I think our society is pretty clear on the whole don't murder thing.
Yeah.
No, they aren't.
It's not. It depends on what your point of view is. If I got on this thing and I got on a rant and I went off and I said some bad things about Greg and hashtag kill yourself or something, and somebody took that and they went and did something bad to Greg, I'd be like, well, it's just my words and it's my opinion. No, I'm just as responsible. And if back to your Law and Order you like to talk about all the time, Judge Stone would have brought it against me. He would have came after me.
Yeah,
Greg,
I'm guilty of inciting it.
When I walked
people that are doing are just as guilty as the guy pulling the trigger.
Yeah.
When I walked into the green room, I jokingly said to you that I'm a white supremacist now.
Yeah.
Tyrus was going to kill me.
Hashtag true story.
They found a list of names inside the killer's pocket, and they don't know what the list is. You can't say it's an assassination list, but there's a list of names in there, which I guess is not surprising. Maybe, I don't think it was a shopping list, people. But there is a specific, and this is where maybe I run into some kind of controversy. The left is more emotional than the right. And I think there's a specific type of person who sees the right as a heroic, the fight against the right as heroic, which, they're evil. The West is eternally damned. So it's a battle. So that means all bets are off. You can do whatever you want. We just think, if you're a right or libertarian, that our adversaries are wrong, but they think we're evil. So it's like Game of Thrones.
The problem... First of all, right, left aren't terms I like to use anymore, but let's just use them. On the left, people have no healthy outlet for their aggressions. They go around pretending to be totally tolerant, going to yoga, drinking green juices, hugging, putting coexist bumper stickers on their car. But all that aggression that they deny, which the right gets out by hunting and going to wrestling matches and so on. All that aggression that they pretend they don't have, they either project onto the right, saying, you've got it, when it's them who has it, and or they act it out like Alec Baldwin.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard the tape of Alec Baldwin chewing out his ex-wife? Yeah. I mean, now he gets to aim it at the right. He's a very angry man.
Yes.
Well, they want the purity test that they would mock the religious right for. I'm gay married.
Yeah.
I'm not even gay. I did it just for the social justice points. But
I'm sorry to hear that.
I did what I had to do. It provides a little cover. You understand what I'm saying? But that's the thing. Mother Jones, which is a far left rag, yesterday wrote a piece that I'm further right than Breitbart.
Yeah.
Because what they want to strike the fear in everyone to the point that everyone will just be quiet.
Yeah.
And what people have to learn is it just shouldn't work on you.
Yeah, and I think the whole Trump phenomenon is showing that it's wearing off. I hear music coming. But we have to remind ourselves, messaging works. The people that are committing a lot of the ISIS atrocities have never met ISIS. So that means you can influence people. And I mean, this guy was definitely influenced. I won't say by who, because then that would be wrong. Or is it? I'm just rambling at this point. Coming up, is Russia collusion just a delusion? We discuss the latest on the investigation, and then we all make s'mores. Is being blunt about a witch hunt after the Washington Post reported that special counsel Robert Mueller was investigating him for possible obstruction of justice. President Trump hit the tweets, calling the investigation a witch hunt like 3 times. But is it? Seems like it's really a fox hunt. A lot of aristocrats on horseback surrounding a wounded animal and trying to drive it into its hole so it can be ripped apart by dogs. So is it really a big deal if Mueller's investigating for obstruction? Isn't Mueller just being thorough? If he finds Trump didn't obstruct, then Trump's exonerated. And the fact is, how can you obstruct a false story? Sounds more like an objection to Comey being a jerk. Also this week, the Attorney General testified before Congress about Russia, but Sessions made no confessions.
Has the president invoked executive privilege in the case of your testimony here today?
He has not.
Then what is the basis of your refusal to answer these questions?
Senator Kaine, the president has a constitutional...
I understand that, but the president hasn't asserted it.
Well,
you said you don't have the power to assert the power of executive privilege, so what is the legal basis for your refusal to answer these questions?
I am protecting the right of the president.
This isn't the first meeting between Attorney General Jeff Sessions and Senator Angus King. We've uncovered video that shows their very first encounter.
I'm the world's richest man. Your rich and chips cookies taste rich. I admire that in a cookie. I'll buy your whole factory.
Our hollow tree's not for sale.
I'll build my own. How long does it take?
Oh, about 100 years.
They haven't aged a day. So, Dave, is Trump right? Is this a witch hunt? What do you think?
Well, look, they're going for impeachment either way. The facts don't matter. That's obvious. The Democrats and the media want impeachment. I didn't vote for Trump. I voted for Gary Johnson, and I should be booed by everyone in this audience. Yeah, I mean the guy was terrible, but that's I just wanted some of those small government principles out there.
Yeah.
So it's not like I was a Trump supporter.
Yeah.
But it's pretty obvious to me this is an attack on the system. If you don't like the system, if you don't like the results of the election, then you fight for your candidate the next time around so that you can, but you don't try to burn down the whole thing. And look, they're going to go after Trump, and if and when they get him, then of course you have to take down Pence because the Russians must have put him in too.
Yeah.
And then you have, a year of a limping, what's his name, Speaker of the House, Paul Ryan.
Yeah.
And it's like, they're trying to take down the system. That truly, without going to conspiracy level, that's what they're trying to do.
No, I don't think it's just about Trump. I think it's about everyone. Walter, what do you think?
First of all, this Russian thing. It reminds me of growing up in small-town Minnesota. Whenever there was a crime in town, somebody got killed or, a house was broken into, it was always somebody from out of town, an intruder, a vagabond, some homeless person coming through. We in the United States, here in Manhattan, made Donald Trump and elected him president constitutionally. It was not an intruder who did it. It was not a vagabond from Russia. We just can't deal with the fact that he is us.
Exactly. Yes. Tyrus, they were never happy once he got in, and this is just going to keep going for 4 years. It's like he's in Trump is in a video game. It's called Get Trump.
Yeah, it started before that. It was called Get Obama.
Yeah.
And now its roles are reversed, and now the other side is, the only difference is they learned from what happened with Obama, so they're trying to use that stuff against Trump. The difference between Trump and Obama is Obama was very good about just going, nope, not going to do it. Where Trump's like, what did they say? Liars? He feeds them, which cause self-inflicted wounds. Imagine where we'd be if Trump did not tweet back at all the, I'm just going to call it all the that's put out about him. We wouldn't be there. We wouldn't have the tape
we wouldn't
scandal.
have
We wouldn't have anything. But they bank on poking the bear to get the bear to, because he's going to yell something out, and then some aide is going to be like, "Oh, let me fix this," and say the wrong thing. Oh, they're not, stories don't match up. We got him, Johnson, on nothing.
Yeah,
Right.
You know. And then Don Lemon has a CNN special about what Trump tweeted and how it affected and hurt children in kindergarten. I mean, no matter what he does.
The upside is no one will watch the special. Kat?
Well, see, I'm not a lawyer.
Are you?
I do know what a lawyer is.
You're a specialist.
Yeah. And what I've generally heard about lawyers is that when you're under investigation, you're supposed to not really talk about it.
Yeah.
They don't tell you to, like, make sure you tweet about it and tweet so everyone knows how much worse what Hillary Clinton did was than what you did.
That was a good tweet, though.
Great. I miss hearing him say crooked Hillary out loud. I'm not going to lie. It was a wonderful thing to hear, and I'm sure he just loved tweeting it. But man, that makes it tough, because what if we were in a situation where there's no collusion, but he ends up getting in trouble for the way he handled the no collusion?
Yeah.
I could see him doing something to stop his name being besmirched.
Yeah.
I mean, name one person who likes his name more.
Yeah, that's true.
You can't.
Yeah.
If Trump was in a video game, what do you think his weapon would be? Something hair related, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
would
He'd throw like strands of hair that would go right into your eye. Head would explode. All right, before we go to break, Tyrus has something interesting to share with us. Tyrus?
Thanks, Greg. Once again, the White House faces tough questions from the press, and as my duty as an American citizen, I went to Washington again to lend a hand. Good afternoon.
You talked about the beef arrangement. Is that beginning today?
Yes, starting today, the White House is replacing all flower arrangements with beef arrangements. There will be filet bouquets, ribeye wreaths, and Kobe corsages. Next question. John Roberts, Fox News.
What does the president think about the fact that Sessions...
Whoa. Hold on 1 minute. Once again, I'm impressed with that shirt and tie. Would you call that fuchsia or magenta? Not many men can pull that off. Who here in this room can pull that off? I thought so. You're an amazing man, John. Next question.
Where is Sean?
He's in the back doing hot yoga. When I left, I think he was doing downward dog.
Is he in a new position now?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big yoga guy, but probably knowing Sean like I know him, he's probably doing the warrior pose at this point. But, anyway, how should I know? I've been out here with you people the whole time.
Why didn't you come out?
I just told you he's doing yoga. Damn. Who's next?
2 questions, but first...
2 questions? Do I look like I have all day? 1 question.
But it's an open question.
Here's my new open rule. 1 question each. If you don't like it, you can sue me.
Speaking of lawsuits, for the Ninth Circuit, they just came out and they upheld the block of the travel ban.
I'm not hearing a question. Listen, I gotta go. It's my leg day, and Sean said he was down for some heavy squats after yoga. # we got 99 problems, but leg day ain't one. Enough said. I'm out.
Nice. Coming up, what superhero did Hillary Clinton compare herself to this week? Sadly, it wasn't the Thing.
This is a Fox News alert. I'm Robert Gray. The U.S. Navy reports the 7 sailors missing from an early morning ship collision have been found dead in berthing compartments on board the ship. The destroyer USS Fitzgerald collided with a merchant vessel in the Pacific Ocean off the coast of Japan earlier Saturday morning. 4 sailors were injured, including the captain, who had just assumed command last month. The cause of the accident is under investigation. Prosecutors in Pennsylvania say they plan to retry Bill Cosby after a mistrial was declared Saturday. The jury deadlocked on all 3 charges against him after 6 days of deliberations. Cosby was charged with drugging and molesting a Temple University employee at his home in 2004. He said their encounter was consensual. Cosby remains free on $1 million bail. Now back to Greg Gutfeld.
She'll never surrender her obsession with gender. In a video message presented at a Women in Film event, I love those, in L.A. this week, Hillary Clinton compared herself to Wonder Woman.
Now, I haven't seen Wonder Woman yet, but I'm going to. Something tells me that a movie about a strong, powerful woman fighting to save the world from a massive international disaster is right up my alley.
Wait. I have to say, she is like Wonder Woman in one very specific way. She's not real. Anyway, Clinton's taped. These remarks were part of a tribute to actress Elizabeth Banks, who stumped for Clinton last year at the DNC. That went well. Still, like my love handles, Hillary keeps coming back. And like my love handles, every time she returns, she stays longer. Luckily, there's a cure for that.
Are you the last person at a party? Do you struggle to know when it's time to leave?
Now, I wish I had flown in from the White House, but I'm just as happy to be here anyway.
Do you offer to wash the dishes, unaware the host just wants you out? Is last call meant specifically for you?
And losing an election is pretty devastating, especially considering who I lost to.
Well, no need to suffer any longer with LingerX. LingerX sends signals to the part of the brain responsible for those embarrassing urges and replaces them with dignity and self-restraint.
I take responsibility for every decision I make.
So stop living in the past and move the hell on with LingerX. Side effects include delusional self-comparisons to female superheroes.
Nice. All right. Tyrus. I had Tucker on my mind. He has appendicitis. Tyrus, you kind of know comics. Is this an insult to Wonder Woman?
No, I don't kind of know comics. I do. And let me just some advice here. If you're going to compare yourself to something, watch it first.
Right.
It's like me saying, man, that movie Deliverance, man. Yeah, I can't wait. I hope, you didn't see it, did you? No, I didn't. So that kind of thought process. Oh man.
It's like saying, I saw Deliverance. I hear it's a great outdoor movie.
Yeah, you obviously didn't see it. And for her to, I mean, that's just a slap in the face to like people who are like, wait a minute, you didn't even take the hour and 45 to see the movie, but you want to take credit for it?
Yeah.
I don't, where I'm from, that's called a move. I mean, that's just, that's horrible. That thought process?
Walter, what do you think? Is there any similarity?
Well, doesn't Wonder Woman always emerge victorious?
Yeah.
Yes.
There was a TV show back in the 70s of Wonder Woman, and she rode on an invisible jet.
Yeah.
I wish Hillary would get on the invisible jet.
Wonder Woman also had a lasso of truth, which Hillary could use on herself. But think about it, just biologically, she shouldn't be trying to turn back. She should be rolling into her Betty White phase, and instead she's trying to go into... Yeah.
That's such a good point. She could have a second life as kind of a comical character instead of like trying to claw her way back into the party. Yeah. No, go away, zombie politician.
Yeah.
Zombie politician cat.
What is she talking about?
I don't know.
How is she like any of those things? So she says she's a strong, powerful woman. Strong women don't blame their problems on everybody else. It's a sign of weakness because you can't handle self-examination. And what is she fighting for? Like, what is she fighting for? All she does, she spends half of her time blaming other people for problems, and the other half of her time, I don't know, like hanging out in the damn woods or whatever she's been doing. What are you fighting for? I think that if you're going to be a fighter for a cause, you have to have like bare minimum at least one suggestion. Offer a suggestion.
She's like Bigfoot. She's like Bigfoot, but she's like Big Pantsuit.
Yep.
Out in the woods, lurking about. So, we got to move on because we've got more exciting stuff and a big surprise coming up. I can't wait. How bigoted is potato-faced actor Mark Ruffalo? Look at that potato face. We shall answer that shortly. Potato face. He demands a ban on the white man. I speak of the actor Mark Ruffalo, who may have bedroom eyes, but a bigoted heart. He recently tweeted a petition calling for MSNBC to stop hiring white conservatives. So far, it's gotten over 178,000 signatures, the same number of Lou Dobbs stickers I have above my bed. The petition even threatens the network, reading in part, quote, "Why on earth is MSNBC pushing out black and brown voices?" I didn't know voices had color. "And filling its network with hardline extreme conservatives. Wow, hard line. We need to let NBC executives know that there will be a sharp backlash if it becomes another platform for right-wing hate. All right, Dave, what do you make of this idea? Is this bigoted or is it just stupid? Or
I just want to understand this. I'm not that bright, I guess, but let me get this. So a white guy who plays a green guy doesn't want other white people to get gigs because of the color of their skin.
Yes, exactly.
Wouldn't someone that had green be appropriate then to play the Hulk? I mean, of course it's stupid. Prejudice. Prejudice means prejudging.
Yes.
So he is prejudging these people based on the color of their skin. That is actual racism.
Yeah. Walter, in his short career, he's had over 70 plus films. Shouldn't he live by his own code and stop taking jobs? Because every job he takes could go to a minority, gay or lesbian, and like you said, the Hulk was green. Anybody could have played the Hulk, except this potato-faced guy.
Out in Montana, they have a saying, I don't have to be faster than the grizzly. I just have to be faster than you.
Yeah.
Which means that when the grizzly chases you, I just have to be faster than you. Mark Ruffalo thinks that when the revolution comes for white men,
yes,
they won't come for him because he pointed at me first.
Right.
What gives him the right to set himself apart from his very race, gender, and so on, and sit in judgment of other members of it? I don't get it.
Yeah, it's guilt. It's guilt. It allows him to live his lifestyle. Kat, what do you think?
Yeah, I also don't understand why you would want to watch a network where there's not a single person that disagrees with you on anything. Just sit in the mirror and talk to yourself then.
Yes, exactly.
Not that I'm slamming that at all. It can, it can sometimes helps. But yeah, I mean, why? Why?
Well, okay.
You have to have, otherwise there's no debate. You have to have people from the other side. And because they're white, okay, whatever. Shut up about that. Shut up about that.
His problem isn't white conservatives. He doesn't want black conservatives on him.
Yeah, that's true.
Right, that's the point. That's the real point. So if a guy like David Webb, who's here at Fox, or a Larry Elder, or a black conservative was on, he'd be calling him an Uncle Tom.
Exactly.
So that's why this is racist.
Right. I was thinking, so only black conservatives and then white liberals are okay. What are you doing? Do you understand how crazy?
Yeah. Where are the Asians in all of this? Tyrus.
Yeah.
I have to say, I do see this on the right, but I don't see. If you have somebody on a show that deviates from a topic, then you can get viewers demand that person be fired or they don't like that person. So it's an instinct thing. But this guy goes a step further. He's he's pushing petitions. And this is what leads to, in a way, the bifurcation or the balkanization of discussion so that nobody talks to each other. And then you end up with people going after each other and shooting people. I blame Mark Ruffalo. No, I don't.
I guess as a black man, it hurts my heart to see white on white crime. It's really. You guys are all so stop fighting with each other. Your war of words hurts everybody. Here's a tidbit.
What?
MSNBC, as much as they like to, or that type of the left, like say we go by merit and not color, they go by ratings. So if the white conservatives put asses in the seats, they're going to get the job over the well-said, fight the fight brother who can't put people in the seats. That's just how it works. That's entertainment. So, sorry, bruh, but, trust me, hey, this is great. It's good for me, because although Fox gave me a job, MSNBC and CNN didn't even holler at me. So, I'm,
And you know why?
Yeah, because I'm black conservative.
Yes. All right. Up next, what the hell is wrong with Katy Perry? How much time do you have? I like that it's sitting Indian style.